coming out from behind the curtain. And besides that, I'm sure that my knee would give out on these stairs in front of all you people and you would laugh. So I'm not doing that. Anyway, um, I I realize after a lifetime of dating and non-dating that we should all have like a composite of people that we should be with. But then you don't know it till way after the fact, so we always seem to pick the wrong ones. So, if I started in high school, I dated the football hero and all he did was flex. So we didn't have much of a relationship. Um, I went I went into the medical field, so I dated a medical student. And by the way, I'm Jewish. He was Mormon. Let me tell you, Mormons know how to raise hell too. They just don't. They don't drink coffee and they don't dance, but they find a way to do it. Um, but so we lasted a short period of time. But I'm like an extrovert, and it seemed like every guy I picked was an introvert. And I'm flighty, so I need people who are grounded. Even my girlfriends, we attract each other for different reasons. Anyhow, my first marriage, I moved to Israel, and I married an Israeli. And my mother got sick here in the States, and she was terminal, so he came back here with me. And after about 13 years of him working in the city, um, living in a northern suburb, and I worked in Skokie, so I was just northern. He wanted to be free. He was never free in Israel. I mean, you're in the reserves till you're 55. You're in the service. You're not free because the country was too little. You couldn't be free. You had to just work for the country. So a war broke out in Israel, and my family was going to send him back to get into his unit. And he said it was the first time in his life nobody was telling him how to die. So he didn't go back. And anyway, so after 13 years, though, he wanted to live in the city. He wanted to be part of the city. He wanted to be part of something he could never have growing up. So we got divorced, but we got divorced as friends, and we could have stayed married as friends. That it wouldn't have mattered. But he really, we just had such different notions. I loved living in the suburbs with my little kids. I mean, I had lived in New York City. I had lived in Tel Aviv. I'd had enough of cities. So we got divorced. And then a guy came into my life. I grew up in Denver, and this guy knew me in Denver, the only person in all of Chicago who knew me in Denver. And we dated 7 years. And I was divorced, and he kept getting divorced and getting divorced and getting divorced. But since I only had one night free when my ex took the kids, it was fine that he filled up that one night for me. Uh, he finally got divorced when I started dating somebody else. But then I didn't realize that I was dating somebody else because of him. And I fell in love with somebody else because of him. And I didn't realize that all of this was just running away from him because I really loved the guy. Even after 7 years, I'd known him almost my whole life. Um, so I married this other guy, and it was very shortly thereafter I realized he was kind of a bully. Things that you never know because sex is so good in the beginning. I mean, there's nothing. If you can't get past the sex, you never know what somebody's really like. There's there's a book that was written called The Road Less Traveled. And they tell you in that book, if you can't get past sex, you're never going to have really a relationship because once the sex cools, you have nothing. So I met a guy now, and his wife died 3 years ago, and he'd been married 50 years. And he went into the Air Force from high school, came out, had 2 dates, got married, and 50 years. And he says that they were still in love. And and that's so redeeming to me that actually can really happen. But what I worry about now is how much time do I have left? And will I ever find the kind of love that he's mourning now because it was so great? Peace out.